let's talk about these two mistakes that successful, more seasoned gentlemen make when trying to date younger women. Some of you guys watching may be familiar with the Dos Equis man. He was dubbed the most interesting man in the world. Also a sex figure, believe it or not, for a lot of younger women. For whatever reason, they cast this guy and he ticked off all the right boxes. He was called the most interesting man in the world. That's the mistake that most older guys make when trying to attract younger women, is they're not that interesting. They don't have a lot going on in the world. And I'm not trying to say that to disparage them. It's a matter of fact. There's a lot of guys that I talk to that are 40 plus, that have put their dent in the universe. Maybe they've been married, maybe never been married, maybe have kids, don't have kids, but they're not particularly interesting. They don't have any personal hobbies beyond what they might have used in the past as identifiers, like husband or CEO of company before they sold out their interest for a 7 or 8 figure exit, for example. These guys are weapons. They've got money. They know how to be successful. They know how to, they understand the art of the deal. They understand things, like employees, hiring practices, HR, packaging, sales, all this sort of stuff. They're world class at a lot of things, but they've spent way, way too much time during that period really not honing their own personal skills and hobbies more specifically. All right, so let me give you an example. You can pretty much do anything you want to women except bore them. Okay, I'm going to say that again. You can do pretty much anything you want to women except bore them. If you're an older guy inviting a younger woman into your day, into your life as a date, maybe you're dating multiple women, maybe you're exclusive. I don't know. It doesn't matter. You can't bore them. You can't be a boring guy. Women hate being bored. Even if you're older and successful and have bank, if you're not interesting, if you don't give them something to get excited about, she's probably not going to want to commit any more time to you once she discovers that. A lot of guys get ghosted. They're like, I don't understand. I've made a lot of money. I'm very successful. My divorce is out of the way. My kids are all grown up. Why can't I get the girls? And then you start asking them, like, well, what are your hobbies? What are you inviting them to do when you go out on dates with them? And by the way, guys, you're not entering their world as an older, seasoned, successful guy. She's being invited to enter your world, okay? She doesn't want to have you come over, hang out, listen to her style of music, hang out with her friends, dress like her, guys her age that she might be, hanging out with a hat side to back sort of thing. She doesn't particularly want that. Some guys think that that's what they want, but that's not what it is. What they're actually looking for is to be invited into your world to do exciting things. The guys that get this, and you'll see posts like this on social media, Instagram even, where you see young, hot women on these fantastic yachts and boats. These young, hot women don't own those boats. They're generally speaking older, more successful guys. Same thing with, exotic cars, for example. You've got to give them something to look forward to that they can't get from the demographic that they're in. Guys their age aren't particularly mature. They're not that fun and sometimes interesting. A lot of, Chad looking guys, if I'm being honest, like alpha male looking guys that aren't particularly interesting in their age category. As you get older as a guy, your looks will start to deteriorate. I mean, there's no question about that. But what about your level of, hey, I'm an interesting guy. I'm the most interesting guy in the world. That's what you got to be looking at. You have to have hobbies. I don't care what they are, but they've got to be interesting. It can't be something boring that doesn't give her something, to be excited about entering in. I had this guy that was completely sucking with women, and I'm like, well, what are your hobbies? Do you invite them into these things? Well, no, I just generally have a coffee and a dinner, or I buy them dinner. And it's like, you're basically leading with beta bucks, which is the second part, to this video. I said number one is not being interesting and not having hobbies. The second thing that guys do wrong, incredibly wrong, is they lead with money. And all that's going to do is put you in a position where you're going to either become a sugar daddy, or you're going to be buying them dinners, paying them rent, basically becoming an ATM. And if you're leading with beta bucks, the beta side of the hypergamy equation, and if you don't know what that is, with hypergamy, women are basically dating across and up. And there's two parts of that equation. The main part is you're either leading with money or you're leading with looks. You're the Chad. If you're an older guy There's fewer older, successful, seasoned men that still look really, really good. You know, there's some Hollywood examples, the Brad Pitts of the world that are over 50, stuff like that. But more often than not, you're not ticking off that box. You haven't spent your entire life, you know, with your looks being your primary focus. It's just not part of the equation. So that's going to have deteriorated a bit. And the main mistake most of these guys make is they lead with money. Let me buy you dinner. Let me pay your rent. Let me be your sugar daddy. Blah, blah, blah. If you're leading with that, you're basically leading with the fact that you're an automatic telling machine, giving them free money because they're beautiful. You're giving them free money and validation because they're attractive. And when you lead with that, you're going to have a bad experience. And a lot of these guys wonder why they're just using me for my money. Well, that's what you've led with. And if you lead with, you know, your money, your wealth, then that's all that they're going to be interested in, because that's all you have to offer them is the beta buck side of the hypergamy equation. You need to be interesting, and ideally, you need to lead a little bit more into the optics of attraction and masculinity.